Well, a death investigation is underway in Fond du Lac after sheriffs say a young child found a loaded firearm in the center console and shot their siblings. A passerby notified police about a young child who had a gunshot wound just after 10:25 this morning at a home on Scraven Circle. The 2-year-old, along with two siblings, were in a car parked in their driveway when a parent went back inside to grab something. Now, that's when deputies say a 4-year-old child found the loaded gun. The gun then fired, hitting the toddler. First responders arrived on scene within minutes, but the child was pronounced dead at the scene. Foul play is not expected. The department says the family is cooperating and any criminal charges will be determined after the investigation is complete.